Hey Karen, executives come and they visit our offices, and I want to have a good impression. And you know what? I end up absolutely closing up, locking up, and then they walk away, and I have all these regrets of the things I didn't say. How can I do this better? Asking for a friend. Hi, I'm Karen Hurt, and I'm here with our next edition of Asking for a Friend from the Road. And we are here today in Beaver Creek, where we are facilitating a couple-day leadership summit. And today is all about communication. And one of the things that I want to share with you on this is to go old school, the old-fashioned elevator speech. The best way to show up confident when you are in a nervous situation is to have already thought through what you are going to say. So, the simplest way to think of an elevator speech, somebody approaches you and be prepared to ask a question that is related to something that you know they care about. So, for example, you could say, "Hey, are you familiar with this strategy? This is how I play into that strategy." So you are making your introduction relevant to something that is on their hearts and minds. So let me give you an example of how I absolutely learned the importance of this. So I was at Verizon, and I had been leading call centers for a couple of years, and I was kind of getting ready for something new. So my boss was doing those things that good bosses do, which was giving me additional challenging assignments to keep me excited while I was continuing to do this work. And so one of these assignments was, she said, you have a really strong communications background, Karen. You used to teach communication when you were working in your graduate school classes. Why don't you take 300 of our leaders and teach them advanced communication, including an elevator speech? So I was in Manhattan, and I had brought this group together, and we had spent the morning and we were working on their elevator speeches. And then it's over. And I actually go to the elevator bank, and I get in the elevator, and as the elevator door opens, there is David Small, and he had just been moved over to be my new boss's boss. There had been a new reorganization, and he had come in. And he says to me, he looks at my name tag, and he notices the name, because clearly he had seen it on an org chart, and he said, "Karen Hurt, don't you work for me?" And I said, "Why, yes, I do." And then he said, "What's your deal?" Now, this is the perfect invitation to have an elevator speech, and I am actually in an elevator. You cannot make this stuff up. But because I had just been teaching the theory of elevator speeches and helping people practice, I did exactly what I was instructing people to do. And I said, "David, are you familiar with our flow-through strategy?" which was a really, really critical strategy in the call centers at that point. And he said, "Oh, why? Of course I have. I've been briefed on it. I understand how important it is." And I said, "My team has been leading the nation in flow-through results." And he's like, "Oh, I'd love to hear more about that." And I said, "But here's the thing. I've been doing this job for a couple of years now. I'm really ready for something new." And he said, "Why don't you make an appointment, get on my calendar, we'll talk about both of those things." So this is an example of two things. One, being prepared with your elevator pitch, but also being prepared with your ask. This end of that story turned out well. David ended up helping me navigate. I ended up in a new role that was very exciting. So that is one thing I would say. If you are nervous, be prepared by pre-thinking what you would say the next time you are in a virtual elevator. That's all for now. I would love to hear your advice. Please add your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time on Asking for a Friend.